Of education. Please welcome to the stage Ava and Tatiana.
Welcome everyone to our journey through the history of education. Today we travel through time from the ancient world to the future to explore how education has changed over the years. We will be presenting in different ways to connect to you, our audience. Let's begin. Hunter-gatherers.
Imagine a small band of hunter-gatherers living with nature, using its resources to provide food and shelter. How do you think they educated their young? Did they have teachers in small schools? Did they have quizzes and homework? Recess and summer vacation? No one knows. The written language hasn't emerged yet. Maybe it was something like this.
Hello and welcome to the Hunter-Gatherers. Today we're going to show you what we like with life at school in the Hunter-Gatherers. We will show you what we think education was like back then. Have fun in this adventure. Here the teacher is attempting to show the students how to build a structure, so they would learn how to do that when they got older. Now let's see the students attempt at it. They are doing well, but now we have a teacher teaching the kids how to hunt. Let's see the kids try. But then one falls down. Now the teacher is teaching the kids how to harvest and gather fresh fruits and vegetables to feed to their children and families when they grow older. After getting fresh harvest fruits, they get to eat them or wash them or cook them.
Ancient Egypt, 200 BCE.
Student society started to emerge. With so many people, they needed systems to keep track of things. The written language was born.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the TV show, a show that's on TV. Today we're going to be talking about ancient Egypt education. We're going to be learning about two different types of learning, scribers and pre-streams. Let's go back in time and see what it was like in ancient Egypt to learn. Now let's meet a teacher.
My name is Mr. M. I teach scribers red documents. This little buffoon came over here. Matt is my best student. Let's take you inside to see how it's done. This is the scriber. This building is called the House of Life. We could use these tablets to prepare for writing tomorrow. Right now, we're learning the hieroglyphic alphabet. I'm so proud of you, boy. Now, check out the Queen's training room. This is the House of Life.
This is the House of Life.
Hey, I already said that.
I already said it, so I don't care.
Excuse me?
I believe you're both my past seconds. I am very sorry, I am very repentant, and will not do it again.
Good. With training students, sacred texts, study sacred texts and hymns, which is a type of song or poem used in rituals for worship. Hi, Miss Thomas. Anyways, all the students will take training in reading, history, math, and writing. Punishments for misbehavior, playing rubber, writing lines, and reading, spending time in stars.
Really?
Yes.
I think that's all we have to do today.
Yes, I got.
Thank you all for joining us on this tour of ancient Egypt's education.
Goodbye.
See you in the next episode of the TV show, a show that's on TV.
Ancient Greece, 450 BC.
Next, we move to ancient Greece for a new way of learning with students to our ancient school. Here we study the foundations of knowledge, reading, writing, and math. And what subjects do we study, Mr. Claus? Here we study math and history. And history helps us remember the important stuff, like who invented the best cheese. Yes. History is also about learning from our past mistakes. Here, under our open-air classrooms, we gather and share our knowledge and debate our ideas. Also, no girls are allowed and only the rich and famous can attend. So no walls keep us in. Mistakes are part of learning. If you stumble in a debate, you'll be encouraged to try again. Every lesson is a step towards wisdom. That makes sense. So if it's not about just getting it right all the time, it's about our understanding. Precisely. Education in ancient Greece is all about curiosity and critical thinking. You are dismissed. Remember, tomorrow we'll explore the works of great philosophers. Bring your questions, there's always more to learn.
Ancient Rome, 500 BC.
We have one more film for ancient Greece. There you go.
Hello, I am Socrates. Welcome to Learning with Questions. Anybody can join, the rich and the poor. Can I join here? Did you not hear what I just said? Anybody can join. In Greece, there are two types of schools, the public school and the Socratic school. Now we will demonstrate the Socratic method. So let's get started. So students, what makes things valuable? I think that value comes from how much the owner wants it. Good job. Now, what is wisdom? Wisdom is how much the person knows. Explain that a little bit. I think wisdom is about experiencing and learning. Good job. This is how the Socratic method works. The Socratic method is where the teacher asks the students questions and the students answer. And this is how education in ancient Greece works.
In Rome, education on focusing voice for public life. They learned Latin, rhetoric, and how to give speeches. Schools were small and girls learned at home. Let's listen to a Latin speech about education.
Salvete, amici miei, odi locor orbis de educationis maximo munere education es plus luc mentis per studia certania a serpent dignitas.
For those of you who don't speak Latin, greetings, my friends. Today I speak to you about the Great Wall of Education. Education is the light of the mind. Through studies we learn knowledge and wisdom.
Sin educación, en tenebras vivimos. Con educación, al melhorar vete, vai para amor, libere somos cogitare, creare et intelligere.
With education we live in darkness. Without education we live in darkness. With education we are prepared for a better life. We are free to think, create, and understand.
Discrite nos solum habitam utili est. Nos migliores hominis facit. Vitrus, scientia, et sapientia nos ducent in futuro.
Learning is not the only useful for life, but it also makes us better people. Virtue, knowledge, and wisdom will guide us in the future.
The structure of medieval education. Medieval education mostly happened in cathedral schools, which later led to the first universities. Curriculum and subjects. Students learned about religion, philosophy, grammar, and Latin. They mostly and logic, and they mostly used Latin to study. Role of the church. The church helped run schools and taught students about religion and morals. Notable scholars and thinkers. Important thinkers like Thomas Aquinas and Peter Abelard made big ideas about how learning and religion that changed education. The rise of universities. In the 12th century, universities began to form, creating new places for students to learn and share ideas.
After the fall of Rome, education continued, but it was now mainly controlled by religion.
During the Renaissance, education changed again as people started focusing more on human potential. Renaissance scholars studied art, literature, and science. Education was becoming more available, but was still for the wealthy.
Today we are talking about education these days in the Renaissance. Look at that family over there.
As you can see, the husband oversaw the kids and wife, who had to obey the father. Most kids during the Renaissance were expected to act and dress like small adults even with their parents. They were rarely hugged.
Schools were in buildings, unlike Socrates in ancient Greece.
Some kids went to school and some didn't. Kids were homeschooled and then they went to school and the wealthy families got tutors for their kids.
Boys and girls would also go to the same school, but they would go into different classrooms. Teachers for boys would be the same gender. Same thing with the girls. Ancient literature and history were most commonly taught in schools during the Renaissance.
Today we will be learning about Greece and Rome.
We learn about Latin, literature, and art.
Class dismissed. Now get out of here, you whippersnappers. And then they went home.
No hugging! All right, sorry. Eat some bread and go to bed.
Okay.
And that's the common day for a child during the Renaissance. And school back then was much different than school now.
Like 1700s.
Thinkers like Jacques Rousseau believed that all children should have an education, not just the rich. Schools started focusing on teaching children to think for themselves. Who believes that all children should have education?
Did you ask who believes that all children should have education? Maddie?
Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Because everybody gets a chance at developing new knowledge and picking up the skills that they're going to need for life.
With the Industrial Revolution, schools had to change to educate more children. During the Industrial Revolution, public education became widespread as governments recognized the need for a more educated workforce. Schools were designed to teach basic skills like reading, writing, and arithmetic, while also instilling discipline, punctuality, and obedience, qualities needed in factories and industrial jobs. The structured, teacher-centered approach mirrored the factory system, and though it opened education to more children, it often focused on rote learning and conformity. Despite its limitations, this era laid the foundation for modern public schooling and the idea that education should be accessible to all.
Behaviors in psychology and history, 1900 to 1950. As education evolved, so did our understanding on how people learn. In the early 20th century, physiologists like B.F. Skinner and John Watson developed behaviorism, which focused on how students respond with rewards and consequences. This idea was called conditioning, influenced by emphasizing repetition, practice, and reinforcements. Behaviorism led to more structured classrooms where students could be guided to correct behavior and master skills through positive and negative feedback. This method has shaped much more modern classrooms, management, and instructional strategies. Psychology, 1960s.
During the mid-20th century, a new approach to psychology called humanistic psychology emerged, led by thinkers like Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow. Unlike behaviorism, which focused on external actions, humanistic psychology emphasized personal growth, self-esteem, and the emotional well-being of the student. In education, this meant creating classrooms where students felt safe, valued, and motivated to reach their full potential. Humanistic ideas led to student-centered learning, where teachers act as guides, and the emotional and social needs of the student are just as important as academics.
In the mid-20th century, cognitive
psychology.
In the mid-20th century, cognitive psychology emerged, focusing on how people think, remember, and process information. Psychologists like Jean Piaget and Lev Vygotsky learn by interacting with their environment and others. In education, cognitive psychology shifted the focus from just behavior to understanding how students think, solve problems, and develop mentally over time. This approach influenced modern teaching methods, encouraging critical thinking, problem solving, and active learning in the classroom.
During the mid-20th century, an international approach to learning emerged. The IB, or International Baccalaureate, focuses on giving students a more global education. IB schools focus on critical thinking and inquiry-based learning. They also focus on developing students who are knowledgeable and open-minded.
Education today. Good Day International School, 2004.
Sydney International School is a private, independent school that offers a globally focused education for students from preschool to high school. The school follows the International Baccalaureate IB framework, which is inquiry-based learning, critical thinking, and the development of global-minded students. CUNY International curriculum is designed to foster creativity, problem solving, and a deep understanding of different cultures and perspectives.
Education today.
Hello people, we have now arrived in the present, but what does present education look like? We're gonna ask some experts today. Now, first up is Professor Ava. So what's your opinion on present day education?
Present-day education is incredibly complex, shaped by a wide range of approaches, research, and traditions. There's no one-size-fits-it-all method because each student is a unique learner with different needs, interests, and way of absorbing information. The various systems of education, from public, private schools to homeschooling, Missouri, Wolof, and online learning, reflect diversity from perspectives on how children should be taught.
Thank you, Professor Ava. That is some really good information. Now, next up, we have Professor Tatiana. So Tatiana, isn't there more research we can rely on for this future? Present education?
Research has contributed greatly to the development of education, offering insights into learning styles, brain development, and student engagement. However, options differ on what's the most effective, with some approaching more traditional methods, and others pushing for more innovative, technology-driven methods. This has led to a wide array of philosophies, practices, including standardized testing, experimental learning, and project-based learning, with personalized education plans.
All right, thank you, Professor Tatiana. That was also some really good information there. Now, next up is Professor Spencer. So, Professor Spencer, what is the goal?
With such a diversity, the goal may not find a single best way to educate, but to understand how education has evolved and continues to adapt. The key is to focus on helping each student reach their potential, taking into account the ever-changing landscapes of learning tools, societal needs, and individual differences.
Thank you, Spencer. That was really good information on the goal. That is all for present-day education. Now, what about future education?
Future education in the future.
Let's see what future education holds in store for us. Now, we're gonna ask some students. So first up is Lawrence, whoever he is. All right, Lars. So, what's your opinion on future education?
I think that
future education will have different classes, like a class where students have to ask AI questions. And I also think that students and AI will work together.
Awesome, really good opinion. Next up is actually me, because I wanted to do an interview on myself about this, so. So what I think is, future education might have more use of AI. They might use this thing for schools, like putting a mechanical device on your head, in my opinion, and they could just put information in your brain in like a few minutes. For homeschooling, instead of teachers virtually teaching you on the computer, I think it'll just be AI teaching you the lessons and taking you through things. I also think school might last a shorter time, up to 5 minutes or so, because if it was AI, it could be programmed to go very fast. Yeah. All right, that's my information. And now next up is Isla. Hello, Isla. What is your opinion on education?
I think that there's a good chance that there might be something like AI glasses to see information overlaid on the real world in the future, of course, making science and history lessons more immersive. There might also be AI teachers or AI guides explaining this lesson. These classes might be global, connecting kids around the world through the class. That'd be very fun. I think that this would motivate kids to learn a lot more and would also be fun. But the problem with this is that some kids, not all, might get addicted to it like some kids are nowadays with video games.
That is really true. Kids do get addicted to video games these days. Anyways, that was an awesome opinion, Isla, and I think that's all we have for future education. Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us on the journey through the history of education. From ancient scribes to modern technology, education has always been changing. Who knows what it will look like in the next 100 years?